Hello, everyone. This is Rachel from Podcast Bonita, and unfortunately, Shirley isn't here, but we do have another surprise guest, Chey.
Hello.
So we decided to have Chey on, Shirley and I, because we thought that we'd do more of a deep dive into the South Park fandom and the culture and things like that. And I was perusing through Tumblr, and I saw a really cool kind of collab sing along type thing on my dash. So I reached out to Chey, and she agreed to come on the show. So, Chey, do you want to tell us a little bit more about this project that you've done?
Yeah, sure. The first project that I did was called Project La Resistance, and it was a sing-along for the song from Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, La Resistance, which is probably one of my favorites from the movie. I think it's very well done. It's one of those, big finish numbers when everybody's singing at once, and it's awesome. So I had thought about putting something together that would really draw some community. I think that's important. So that one was first, I put that one out in 2016, like very end of 2016. And then the year after that, I did one called Project Put It Down, which was singing along to Put It Down from Put It Down from season 21. And that was released in 2000. So I did two projects a couple of years ago.
So, do you have any more in the works?
I had been considering it. I'd tossed it around for a little while on whether I would do another one or not. I do have ideas. Again, it's just more of a, do I have the time to commit to it at the moment?
Oh, yeah, I definitely understand that. So,
Yeah.
looking back at the first one, where did you first get the idea to do like a sing along thing for a South Park song?
Wow. Yeah. I love music. Music is a very integral part of my life and part of my job of what I do. I have a lot of things that involve music. And I love the way how South Park integrates music into every aspect of it. Seasons are full of music. The movie itself is full of. I kind of got the idea because I think it was the year before, it was when season 19. And I feel like season 19, for the fandom anyway, was a really big year. We had a very strong sense of community that I feel like we haven't really had since then, where people, regardless of how they felt about the season itself, the content, there was a lot of content being created. A lot of people were coming together in a way that I hadn't seen in years before that. And I was really inspired to recreate that sense of community by putting together a project. And this was before like reanimate projects were really popular.
Mm-hmm.
While there is some going on right now for the fandom, which one of which that I have art I've done a piece for. They weren't as popular. That wasn't really the thing to do. So I figured maybe since South Park's so centralized around music, we do a music project.
Very cool. Yeah, I definitely wanted to do more interactions with other South Park fans because from what I've seen, we're all really talented and cool. So I thought I'd talk with some of you guys.
Yeah, I would agree. We have an amazing pool of artists and creators for a show that I don't think I would have ever expected to have that kind of community.
Absolutely. And like the art and videos and content that are created for South Park is so diverse and different. It's really, very cool.
Yeah, I love seeing, just what people come up with. We have a thriving community of artists and different people who do all sorts of different crazy things. And we don't always get along all the way, but I think everybody has a very big respect for each other in terms of the artistry.
I would agree with that. So we talked a little bit about La Resistance and why it's a great song, but South Park is filled with a lot of great songs. So why did you pick that one in particular?
Oh, I was going through a phase at that point when I was really, really into the movie.
Mm.
Uh, I had listened to the soundtrack over and over and over again at that point. So I thought, I'd pick one of the songs from it. And I felt like it had a lot of different parts. There was a lot of things that I could pull from a lot of different voices could accommodate it versus just a song where with one singer or I don't know, it just felt like a song that would be able to reach the most amount of people at once. There's parts where, the men, the soldiers are singing, so I figured, that would be good for lower alto voices. There are parts with a lot higher voices, parts that if anybody was interested, they could kind of solo it. So I figured it would be the best song to pick for a project of that nature.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. And if I am correct, I believe that you'd also do one of the voices in the video.
Yeah. Oh goodness. I was 16 at the time I recorded that. So I look back on it and at my very untrained teenage voice for singing, and I kind of cringe a little bit, but I also kind of am kind of proud of younger me for putting that together. But yeah, I did the very first voice you hear is Gregory's voice. I sing that line, and yeah, that's me.
Well, you know what? I got to give you props, especially as a teenager. That takes a lot of balls to put yourself out there, and it sounds like you had fun doing it.
Yeah, I've always been a performer. That's actually part of my job. I teach and I dance and I teach theater and music. For me, singing is not something I shy away from.
So in 2016, when you first announced your idea or like the calling out for people to be in this video, what was the response of the fandom like?
I got a lot of really great response. I think that was kind of I don't want to say my height of being yeah, it was kind of at that point in the fandom where the year before again season 19 had dropped, and that was really when I kind of rose into being a part of the fandom space as a, I don't want to say a more prominent member, I could say. I gained a lot of followers and a lot of people who I started interacting with. I got really involved, and so I think because I was already garnering a lot of attention, it was easy for me to get it out because people were already looking. But people responded very positively. I got a lot of people saying, I'm interested, pretty much right away. The whole thing, I think I put that call out in, I want to say it was October, and the project was published on December 31st, just a few months later. So it was able to be put together over a couple of.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, quick turnaround. I think it's a lot. It goes a lot faster, I think, than like reanimate projects. The one that I've been a part of right now, it has been going on for a couple of years now, just because it does take a lot more time to animate than sing. But I believe I ended up with a good 30 or 40 people, I think, who ended up in the project.
Wow, that's really that's a lot of people.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was very pleasantly surprised and impressed.
So, as you said, you have a second sing along project, Put It Down, and if anyone is following you on YouTube or Tumblr, they know that you are a big Craig fan. So, do you want to talk a little bit about the second project?
Yeah, the second project. So after Project La Resistance, I was thrilled by the response and how people were interacting, and people responded very positively to it. It got a decent amount of views on YouTube and on Tumblr and wherever else I had put it. And people really enjoyed it. They thought it was cool. So I thought the next year after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to do it again. Let's see what happens if I do this again. So I did Project Put It Down because I do love Creek, and I do love the episode Put It Down. And the song, I think, is phenomenal. I think that's one of my favorites that they've put out. But I thought it would be really good because people obviously really responded well to that episode in the fandom. They liked the song. So I picked that one, and it's got a lot of parts again. There's a lot of voices, there's choruses, there's solo parts, there's people who are just doing speaking lines. So I thought that would be really fun to do. And that one followed a very similar time frame. I believe I kicked it off in September of 2017, and then it was published. I wrote this down, so I made sure I said the date right. November 18th, 2017. And I was 18 at the time when.
So September, does that mean that you started working on it soon after that episode aired?
It was the year after.
Oh, okay.
So that was season 22, if I got my dates correct.
Yeah, it probably is.
Project La Resistance was 2016, so it was the year after. Yes, so it was season 22 was airing at that time, and Put It Down had come out the year before.
Got it. So, what was like the fandom response and the overall success of the second video versus the first one?
Um, I got more people for sure in Project Put It Down than I did in Project La Resistance. I think I ended up with closer to 40 or 50 people for that one. I need to look again, but that one was a bit more successful, I think, in terms of getting people on board. And I think I finished it faster uh, than the other one, just because people sent in responses a lot quicker. Um, but yeah, it got really great responses. Same as before. I did get mad because I used the video footage in the video, and even though there was no original audio other than a background track, which you really couldn't hear that well, Viacom still copyright striked me on YouTube for the video usage. So I had to remove the video part and just put a still frame in for the YouTube version, but the full with the actual video in the background is still on my.
I am very familiar. That's why Shirley and I always do original drawings or just pictures as our video.
Yeah, because they will get you.
So, other than your sing along projects, what is your overall experience with the South Park fandom been like?
I think it's been very positive. I have been part of the fandom for almost 6.5 years now. I started actually being serious about watching the show in late 2013. Um, so I've been there for a while, and I've been on Tumblr for a while, and I've really enjoyed getting to see everybody and be a part of something. I'm not as active as I used to be. Mostly, you grow up. I'm an adult now. I have a lot of I work a lot of jobs, um, and time is not as available as it used to be when I was a teenager, when I could really throw myself into and throw myself into art um, the way I used to. But I have had very good, experience overall. There's always those moments when I'm like, oh, you guys, come on. But for the most part, everybody's been really sweet and wonderful to engage with.
But that's any fandom, I think.
Oh, for sure.
So, as far as platforms go, do you interact with other South Park fans on Tumblr and Twitter or anything else?
I mostly stick to Tumblr. I like the format of Tumblr. I like the people on Tumblr. I got a Twitter last year, but I haven't been as active on it just because I don't really like the way how the layout is on Twitter. I don't think it fosters the interaction that I'm looking for. I mess around in some different Discord groups sometimes for the fandom, and that has been really great because then you can really start chatting with people on community. But mostly I stick to Tumblr because I find it just to be the easiest to connect with people.
So, you said that you started watching South Park in 2013?
Yeah, late 2013, right as season 17 was airing, but I wasn't caught up at that point, so I didn't watch season 17 live. Um, I was 14, almost 15 when I started watching it, but South Park's always been a big part of my life because my family would watch it when I was younger. Obviously, I wasn't the one watching it, but my parents. It's been, kind of a part of my family culture to have South Park quotes thrown around and stuff. But they haven't watched in a long time, so it wasn't really current, like early season. But I decided to start watching it myself. I don't really remember why, but it kind of came about, and so I binged the whole thing from late 2013 to early 2014, got really involved in the fandom, and then it was history from there.
Yeah, you were off the deep end at that point. My final question is a little bit corny, but bear with me. So,
Okay.
the last question is, what does South Park mean to you?
Oh, oh man, that's a good question. I think for me, because it's been such a big part of my life, especially in my teenage years, going into adulthood, it's been a consistency for me. Even when everything's changing, get adjusted to adult life. I always have the show. Come September, it's like, okay, there's going to be a new season, there's going to be community, there's going to be, things to look forward to. And I think that's been really important to me. But I think as a show, it pushes boundaries. It does things that other people sometimes aren't always, willing to try. And I really respect that and, appreciate what it is. I think that the people who work on the show are phenomenal. I've been able to talk to some of the people who work on the show, or people who have worked the games like Stick of Truth or FBW, and they are fantastic. I just think that the love and care that goes into the show, and the love and care that the fandom facilitates for each other is really a beautiful thing, and I'm really proud and happy to be a part of that.
Okay, I know I said that was the last question, but under what circumstances have you talked to the South Park staff, and what did you guys talk about?
Oh, so I should actually clarify. I've only really talked to one person directly. I cannot remember her Tumblr URL off the top of my head. She worked on FBW, and she's super, super sweet. She posts a bunch of different behind the scenes stuff. She did a lot of the artwork for FBW, for the Yaoi quests. She did some of the artwork for that. She's very, very nice. But we've just kind of briefly talked, nothing like too super deep. Like, I haven't found out any secret information, but just as like casual, both fandom members, because she's kind of part of it.
Okay, well, that's very cool. I didn't know that about you. So, thanks so much for coming on the show, Chey.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast to get to talk about something and have some fun and get to engage with the kids.
Absolutely. So if you like, I can link to both of your sing-along projects in the description so my viewers can go watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. I apologize in advance again for my teenage singing voice. I promise I can do better now.
That's all right. So is there anything else you'd like to plug?
No. I mean, you can come and find me on Tumblr at Shiluhu, or my YouTube, which is Prostanute. And I'd be more than happy to say hi and talk about fun fandom things, and maybe take a look out. I might put together another project in the future. If people give good response to it, maybe I've had some ideas for a while on which one I want to do next. So we'll see if I can get the time and energy to put it together this year.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys want to be involved in something like that, head on over to Chey's Tumblr channel and keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, just kind of let me know if you're interested.
Well, thank you very much for coming on and being part of the best of the South Park fandom.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. All right. Bye, guys. I'll see you in the next video.